Jim Bauer of New Media with Virtual World Wyville. And I just would want to point out, I mean, I've been on a lot of Virtual World panels, and this is the first time where I've had two panelists that have an educational product.
Who's the other one? Oh, sorry.
Economics.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you know, Hot Wheels and you. Yeah.
Good.
No,
That's right. I have a question. What is he doing? What are you doing? You're playing a card game. Good. So I'm Jim Bauer. I've been in this business since 1987. Launched Wyville in 1999. So we're approaching our 12th anniversary. I have about 7 million accumulated members. 10% of the kids that registered in the year 2000 came back in the last month, which means they're no longer kids. How many of you know about Wyville? Good. Why don't the rest of you know about Wyville? That's a real question. Why not?
You haven't told us what it is yet?
That's right. You will know about Wyville at the end of this, a little bit, not much, a little bit. Because actually, to understand Wyville, you can't look at a PowerPoint. You can't look at a video. I actually have a video loaded, which was actually made by a child. Sort of interesting. What?
So, Wyville, WHYVILLE.net.
So if you really want to understand what Wyville is, please go. You're welcome. It's free. We like adults. We actually think adults and kids should interact on the internet. We actually think it's a positive thing in the right context. But the reason you don't know about us is because we don't spend millions of dollars marketing to you or anybody. In fact, we have 7 million users without having spent basically a dime on marketing. So I think that the purpose of this panel was to ask a question: how do you survive in this business? And what are the characteristics of a virtual world which engage kids? And let me make a distinction, which many of you have probably heard of. Actually, the first time I used the word engage was in the first presentation I made in 1999 when I was trying to figure out what is it different about the internet. Right? And so I came up with this idea, maybe it's engage. It's an engaging medium. It's not a push place, it's a pull place. It's a place where you use it. And the more you use it, the more it is yours, the more you want to be there. Okay? So I think the original email I got said, talk about how you survive in this business and how you deal with the ever-growing number of virtual worlds, which basically are kind of all the same. Largely all the same. The answer from our point of view is you build loyalty. And the way you build loyalty on the internet is actually to make the thing that you're building be something you are building with your citizens. In Wyville, one of the first things we did was, actually it's a funny story, I'll tell it briefly, for those of you who've never heard it. When we launched Wyville, we made a bunch of, we want to have avatars, we want to have avatars you can customize, so our artists made a bunch of avatar cards. One of the first things that came up in Wyville was something called Pick Your Nose, where you could literally pick your nose and your eyes and mouth. And within about 35 milliseconds, the kids wrote back and said, your parts are done. So we opened a factory, the Y-Parts factory, in which kids could make their own parts. And ever since then, kids have been making their own parts and selling them to other kids. We had for clams, Wyville's internal currency. So we now have about 2.5 million face parts constructed by children. I was asked at a panel recently, how do we know our face part parts are what children want? This is a strange question. They make them. We're actually talking to an apparel company about making in the real world the clothes that our kids make in the virtual world. us and said, we try to guess every year what kids want. If we don't guess properly, we lose a lot of money. Maybe we should just build them what they want. They build themselves. One other thing that we just launched on Christmas or New Year's Eve, and this is actually related to one of the awards that was given last night to GameStar Mechanic. We actually think that not only should kids be uploading videos they make, they should be making games. Why not have the kids make the games? So we actually have a platform in Wyville now where kids can make their own games, and they can do it collaboratively. They can make Angry Birds. In fact, it's a physics-based, except they can make them angry whatever they want. And when you make the game, you actually sit there with the gaming platform in front of you, and your avatar friends are all sitting there designing the game together, and then someone says, okay, let's try it. And they all jump in and try it, and then they say, wait a minute, I don't like this, it doesn't work right. And they get back out and they redesign. So if our stats on things we normally do in Wyville turn out to be what happens in this case, within months there will be tens of thousands of apps made by kids, marketed by kids, planned, used by kids. Okay? And those kids are going to stay and do that because it is something they have done. It's a pull activity, not a push activity. I realize that's sort of a hard message for people that are in the business of designing things for kids. What I'm telling you is that I deeply believe that the future of real interactivity is truly interacting with your customers, your clients, to have them involved in this process. That's why Wyville still exists 12 years later. By the way, we were the first virtual world, so it's very unusual in technology for the first thing to still last after a long period of time, especially when big boys get in the game. Right? So we've lasted for a long time, and I think that's the reason. One last point. Several people have said so far today that it's important to engage parents and engage your family. I think that's really true. A company called Media Chaperone came to us about a year ago and said, we have a great idea. We're going to make an app on Facebook and on various mobile platforms where we can tell parents if their kids are behaving badly online. And I said, parents don't want to know their children are behaving badly online. They want to know their children are behaving nicely online. They want to know that their kids are learning online. They want to actually see the same light in their kids' eyes that they would like to see when they read books. They want the same kind of positive report card coming back. So maybe what we should do is design an app that keeps parents informed about what their kids are doing online. And then allow parents to actually reward the children in the world they live in for their positive success and achievement. That app exists. It's called Piggyback. Okay? It's the interaction between parents and grandparents. Don't forget them. And kids is already moving forward. So last point. Wyville is actually run by a company called Nemedian. Nemedian built the engine that runs Wyville and actually a number of other virtual worlds. We just received a patent on that engine. Sort of a warning, which was submitted 10 years ago. And we are very optimistic about continuing to survive moving forward with our children helping us do it.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Jim.